Hey, I'm Chris Koller. I'm joined today by Taylor Snow.
Hey,
And yeah, we're here to talk to you a little bit about the ShareBuilder Assistant. So if you subscribe to our email list or happen to check out our blog today, or perhaps saw a news release that said that we introduced this new cool feature called the ShareBuilder Assistant, well, we sure did. And we got a lot of response back about like, what the heck is this thing? I want more details. And it's great to have that kind of response, right? We're really excited about that. So we thought maybe we should sit down, do a series of videos here, Taylor and I. Taylor's the vice president of product. I'm sales and marketing. And we work together a lot on these ideas that we end up seeing to fruition that become features and benefits for all of our users of our CRM and our pricing tool. So we were on the phone today talking about the response and thought we should do this series, right? So here we are. Again, as I repeat myself, but I have to fly to New York City tomorrow to be at TVB. So I leave at 6 a.m. So we decided about 2 hours ago, let's do this, and we're here doing it now. So not a lot of time and money spent in production or
no,
really thought behind what we were going to talk about. But we're going to give this thing a whirl. Hopefully it'll get better as we move along. We're going to do this as a weekly feature. Every week we'll talk about a different feature that's either out for the ShareBuilder Assistant or something that will be coming down the road in the future. So
we got a lot to talk about.
we do have a lot to talk about. So we might do this for a while. We better get better at it, Taylor.
Right. I don't know. I like the cheap quality here.
Yeah.
Low budget.
Right. So anyway, I want to start this off by talking about a story. March of 2021, Taylor and I were at the Burrell and Associates conference in Miami, and we'd had a long day at the conference. We were winding down. I think we were up in one of our hotel rooms. We had these nice little balconies. We're sitting out there enjoying a nice warm Miami spring night, having a nightcap and solving the world's problems. And we had just purchased Officio a couple years ago. So we were kind of new. I had worked on the ShareBuilder pricing side. Taylor came from the Officio, CRM side. And I started to gain enough experience, and I had to ask him a question because, as somebody who was in direct media sales for most of my career, I was already thinking like, Taylor, why does our CRM suck? And Taylor had an answer for me.
Of course, all CRMs suck, right? They're all built for managers and corporate people, never for the sales rep.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're really built for the people that sign the check, right? We build them to get them sold, and then we ignore the everyday user so often, which is the account executive. And CRMs that I'd used historically, which are numerous, always felt the same way for the most part. That as a salesperson, at least, I was always like, why the heck do I have to do all this work just so my manager can beat me up about it later? As a manager, I loved it. As I excelled through my career and I had less like hands-on people actually selling, it was more exciting for me to have the tool, right? So then I started to understand, oh yeah, it's for people like me who sign the check so I can watch everybody else from above. Well, Taylor and I decided there was a better way that night. And we made a commitment. We said, we're going to fix this thing. No more of this CRM as a manager tool that's used as a whipping post for the guy above you to beat you down when you didn't do something right. And we made a commitment about 3 different things that night, 3 concepts that we decided we would carry forward. And this is how we were going to conceptually improve. And we were going to talk about this on a consistent basis. The first was for every manager tool that we built, we would build at least one AE feature to have that 1-to-1 ratio, that we were always improving the account executive experience and making the enablement for them to go out and sell more easily, save them time, keep that at the forefront of our thoughts. So
that was a baseline. That was a negotiation of like a minimum 1-for-1, but we got a lot of catch up for AEs to do on top of
this. Yeah, absolutely. It's true. We did have a lot of catch up and we built lots of tools to get to this point even. 2 was transparency. No more my manager sees this, the AE sees this. The managers obviously have a slightly different view, seeing more financials and everything than the account executive, because they can see it for everything they're responsible for. But basically, an AE understands how a manager is looking at their information inside the CRM. No more walled garden there. And 3 was to always be a commitment to always be on the bleeding edge of technology and innovation as it pertains to CRM. So often it doesn't happen, and it had not happened at that time for us. And we got committed to being there and always having a free model option that we believed was baseline service for the CRM. Not to say we won't ever have paid options for more robust features, but always a baseline with the bleeding edge technology.
Right. Maybe not free, but baked into that, entry level offering.
Yeah. Not, I mean, still a subscription fee, but not an add-on to your baseline subscription fee. Yeah. So here we are 3.5 years later. I think we've accomplished a lot of those things. We're still working on them every day. We're trying to get better. We're certainly not where we'd love to be, but we're a heck of a lot further down the road than we were 3.5 years ago. And something that Taylor and his team have been working on for the last, almost 2 years now, at least 1.5 years plus, or at least that's when the discovery phase started, is the ShareBuilder Assistant. And the ShareBuilder Assistant does all this cool automagical stuff that happens in CRM where you'd think it would be manual work, but everything just kind of happens behind the scenes. But this is Taylor's baby, so we'll let him talk a little bit more about how this came to be and what it does.
I don't know if I would call it my baby, but I am definitely the talking head of the ShareBuilder Assistant and the product team. There's a huge stack of people behind that got us to this day, behind me, I should say. But the ShareBuilder Assistant builds upon everything that Chris said we were investing in to make the AE experience better inside of ShareBuilder CRM. The assistant, in my mind, is a layer that sits on top of CRM. So if you picture like CRM at the bottom, the assistant on top, and then the individual user sitting on top of the assistant. The reason I think about it that way is the user can interact with CRM through the assistant. We have a lot of stuff planned out over the next couple of years to make that statement even more true. But even today in this initial release, the assistant is generating new insights. It's using the data that we already have or that users are already generating, whether it's from traffic or manually entered like activity and pending and accounts and all that stuff. It's powering that up. We'll see that a lot in our marketing. And on top of that, we're trying to kill the busy work as much as we possibly can. So we're using the assistant, a lot of AI, a lot of custom development behind the scenes to be able to take on some of that, I'll just say it again, that busy work that we ask users to do to keep a CRM maintenance clean, clean account lists, make sure financials are mapped out correctly, all of that. People don't need to be doing that, right? We built the assistant. We called it the assistant because back in the day when I first started, which wasn't even in the peak of media, not everybody, but there was a lot more assistants that were baked in to sales staffs. And we've watched that kind of go down over time, and that's starting to become a bit of a luxury. The assistant that we built and will continue building over the next few years is supposed to be built to fill that gap, right? So in its current state, I like to think of it this way. This might be a little product focused, but this is the worst it will ever be. This is the worst the assistant will ever be. It's only going to get better, more powerful, more usable, more insightful from here forward. So to me, that's how I picture the assistant. Maybe a little nerdy, but
no, I think it's an important baseline to start from, Taylor. We're going to talk about a lot of features that the assistant or benefits that the assistant has and the features that are tied to those benefits, in upcoming videos here. The one I want to talk about today, because we finally had the full release of this going out here in the next week or so, and that's Connected Mailbox, which we've been working on for a long time. I know the assistant and Connected Mailbox are not the same thing, but Connected Mailbox and the assistant were released together for a reason.
Right. It's been a long road in watching CRMs go through a journey of changing how we get activity for users, where they create the activity, right? So there's a massive amount of activity that's created in today's world, and even before, but even more so today with outbound marketing, inbound marketing, all that stuff. The mailbox is like a gold mine, right? That's where all the sales activity is really starting for the most part. So because of that, we built Connect Mailbox to automate the process of getting that email data and that calendar event data out of the mailbox and over into the CRM. That was only half the battle. This is probably why it took us a little bit longer than we anticipated to get Connect Mailbox fully out. We wanted to hit this thing head on and make this as seamless and easy as possible. So we pulled the assistant in, we pulled the team in to build up capabilities for the assistant to be able to handle all this material that comes from the mailbox. So it reads through the emails, it finds the contacts, it puts the activity where it belongs, it links it up to the pending inside of CRM if it should be. It will even create a new contact in some cases. Like there's all this magic. I think we like to use the word automatically. A lot of things just automatically happen when it goes into that assistant box. And there's really not a lot of maintenance to do once you set this up. There is kind of this capture. I call it purgatory for activity and contacts. That's not what it's called in the system, but that's kind of how I think of it. So we catch things, we look at them, we put them where they belong, and there's going to be a few cases where we don't know what to do with a new contact or a new email address and the activity that goes with that. So we throw it in a system called unknown. You tell us whether or not we should know about them in CRM or whether we shouldn't. And as you teach us, the assistant actually catches up, it learns from that. You're basically training your assistant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're training your assistant to be better with how you engage with your contacts. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Best part about, I think, all this for anybody listening or watching here is that this is not some big like paid feature where you have to spend extra money. If you subscribe to ShareBuilder CRM, all this new update that we're talking about right now, Connected Mailbox, is free for all of our users, which is so great.
Yeah, it's just part of like using a CRM and making it easier, less busy work for the AE. I couldn't imagine charging for this feature.
Yeah, and it's part of our commitment, number 3 that we talked about, our commitment to, staying up to date with technology, being in front of it in some cases, and making sure there's a baseline offering that doesn't cost our current user base any more money, which is awesome.
Yeah, we have some pretty exciting stuff that sits on top of what we're rolling out today. Like I said, this is the worst it will ever be, which is still pretty exciting. There could be some paid features like Chris is hinting at, where the assistant reads the emails, creates summaries. We've already built all this stuff. We just got to get it to production and build it into the front end. But I'm pretty excited about that stuff because it's going to provide even more insights onto the work that the assistant is taking the busy work away from you. So leveraging what you're already doing.
Awesome. Well, guys, that's all we have for today. We're going to try to keep these videos short to not bore people to death. We'll be back next week with more information. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button on our YouTube channel so that you can be notified when these come out. If you want to reach out to either one of us directly, Taylor, I'm going to make Taylor produce a nice little pretty slide for the end of this thing that has our contact information. So you can reach out and find out more from us directly about the assistant. We're here to help. We love having conversations about this. We're both pretty dorky at heart and love to talk about software and products and CRM and yield management, all sorts of fun topics. So we look forward to talking more about this. We might have some guests in future episodes. We'll see. But yeah, keep checking back for more. Thanks. Appreciate the time, guys.